All right. Episode 3 of this live cast. We've survived 2 shows. Rob Adams took the helm last time, and it did pretty good. How'd you think you did, Rob? You think you did good?
I think I did all right.
Yeah, you did good. Justin, how did you do?
You know what? He rocked it.
Yeah, he did pretty good. We talked about it on the podcast, which is coming out in another day or two. So the new episode of the podcast will be out, and we talk about that. But tonight, the live cast, our guest, Brian Dencklau. Right, Brian? How you been?
Hi, guys.
So those who know Brian, probably from the Build Sideways podcast, he's also a really good Gundam modeler, aircraft modeler. He's not you're an okay car guy. I'll put you at the top of the list on the Gundams and the planes, but the cars you need a little work on, but it's okay, right there, Rob? You agree?
Hey, it is.
Yeah, except for the flying one. That thing's fucking awesome.
I know. Did you like that I put the flying car in there? You didn't give me that picture, but I had it from Armacon.
Yeah.
And I threw it
it's
in
nice.
there.
It's a fun one. It was a fun build. It's a good one.
You did a great job. I had I was going to put the spider you had in there too. But I was like, you know what? You did a good job on that as well. But we wanted you on for this episode because we wanted to do a little bit of Gundam, a little sci-fi stuff. We're trying to mix it up a little bit. We had Luca C. Macanti on the first episode. He's a car guy. Robbie Knopf came on episode 2 for Rob. He's more of a plane guy, but does that armor. Maybe does a couple other things. And then you're the resident sci-fi guy, but also another podcaster. So just let some of the guys know here who don't really know you. Some guys might know you. Some guys might not know you. So give a little background on Mr. Brian Dencklau.
Sure. Hi, I'm Brian. I go by Bro Builder on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel of my own where I have like nearly 300 live streams. So that started long before the podcast thing ever started. So that's where, started cutting my teeth with that in like 2016. Around then when I started doing live streams on the tube. And shit got out of control. Wait, can I swear on here?
You can swear all you want. It's
okay, good.
This is insanity, man. This is.
I shouldn't know, but I should have checked ahead of time. You don't know. You never know. So anyway. All right, so I'll be myself. Things went crazy, and I've been hanging out with a group of really fun people that I got associated with a different YouTube live stream show called Mechanism that was pretty fun and pretty popular for a while. Through that group of guys, we continued doing live streams. We did a special show called Critical Builds, which is a submissions based mecha or any kind of model towards the end, but it started out with mecha. People would submit their artwork to us or their pictures to us and have us critique their stuff live. And then we would give them live feedback on StreamYard, similar to what you're doing here, hanging out with the people in the audience, talking, sharing ideas. And then from that, we were like, you know what, let's try, the podcast thing's kind of going places. Let's do a little podcast. I think we've got more content than just like live stream banter about anime movies and, fighting games and shit like that. Like, let's try putting something a little bit more thoughtful together. And, in our podcast, Built Sideways podcast, is a little bit less like, here's the new kids in the news. Haha, Rob. And no, but it's less like the nuts and bolts of it and more like the how and why.
No, I think that you guys got a great little dynamic over there on the Build Sideways.
Thanks.
In a lot of ways, it's a little reminiscent, right, Rob, of like the way the Miscreants were on all the old iteration of what the Insanity is, where we sometimes we went off the rails so many times that we're not even talking about the hobby anymore. We're talking about crazy, like I'm talking about stupid shit, and you guys, not saying you guys talk about stupid shit. I'm just talking about like you guys.
There's lots of philosophy there,
right?
Philosophize a lot.
You guys philosophize a lot over on the Build Sideways, which is always, listen, it's the interesting thing about it is that there's each podcast in the modeling world right now that's over here, like English based, each has their own style. And I think that's why it's it works. Like you turn the Insanity on, it's totally different than the Build Sideways. It's totally different than the Geeks and so on and so forth. And I think that's
variety. Variety's a spice.
Exactly. Variety is the spice. But listen, we're going to talk about you as a modeler. And I look up to you as a model, not just because you're 6'5". How tall are you?
6'4", but close.
6'4". So you're a pretty tall guy. And just so I know that I see Frankie Donati sitting behind the stage right now, controlling the chat. So we can't really. Usually, sometimes we can see the chat over here. on the side here. How do I do the chat, Frank? How do you put the chat up on the side, Frank? So we can read the chat when it's going up.
I've been interacting with the chat as well.
Your mic sounds terrible right now, Justin.
Shut the fuck up.
It does. It sounds a little bad. There's a little reverberation over there.
Yeah, gotta work it.
Yeah, no, it does sound pretty bad though, to be honest with you. Everyone's taller than me, yes. But Brian is really tall though. And the first time I met Brian in person, I'm like, holy shit, man, I didn't realize you were this tall. I was like, what time can I climb you? What time is it right now? As a model, we'll just get just want to get some background about like what makes you the way you are as a model, because you are a great Gundam guy, but we're going to talk about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've always been into building stuff. Like I got my first model in 1985 or something like that, and when I was a little 6-year-old kid, put together it's like a B2, I think. Yeah, and it was pretty dope. And then I put together a Concorde that was also really dope, and it really like kicked it off. And I just kind of like, my parents needed something for the hyperactive kid to do with his hands, and so it was like model kits and Lego. And I ran with that. I ran with those, and I still collect and build both. So usual, you take a break in your teenage years, blah blah blah. But I've always been building stuff. So like after I got through the schooling aspect of life, and I've studied art in school, and when I did that, I was doing a lot of sculptural stuff, constructive stuff, making clothing, making just like carving, plaster with a chisel and a hammer, and like doing all sorts of as much versatility as possible to learn all the different things. And got into fabrication, building houses out in the Midwest where I'm from. And then when I moved to the city, I got into metalworking, and then that led into working on art and working in the theater and working in movies and television, which was cool. So I did a bunch of that kind of like sculptural stuff, and they like let me kind of like work towards my thing. So I did a lot of like forming, a lot of polishing. I'd worked on all the fancy sculptures and stuff like that, like $100,000 sculptures that they don't let people touch them, but I get to touch the art because I'm good. But so that like led back into slowly, like I lost that end of my job and lost that job altogether, and then things kind of like condensed down, and as they condensed back down, I still needed that like urge to build and do stuff. So I started doing like prop modeling. That's when I got into doing resin casting, so I know a lot about resin casting and mold making and all that shit. But then that all led back to skill modeling, which is all right, bring it back in. We got real big for a second there, bring it right back in. And then so that's where I've been focusing now. It's just like, yeah, it's a blast. I really lean into the Gundam stuff and the sci-fi things because of like that's my love from the 80s. Like my older cousins were into like Macross and that shit like before me, so they had like like the old transforming Veritex that I was like, oh, let me touch them. They're like, get the fuck out of here. And like, and they give me good comic books and like, feeding me like the proper anime, sometimes the improper anime.
Yeah.
And
the hentai,
no, I found that on my own in college, but just like, building this like level of creativity and like staying with drawing and art and doing all that stuff as a kid, it's just kind of stuck with me. And so like getting back into it as an adult with all of these skills that I built up through college, through working, building, and doing all these different things, then taking that, shrink that shit back down, and getting a chance to use all of those different things with plastic or brass or whatever, right? Soldering, photo etch style stuff like you do, Rob. I have like a fantastic soldering rig. And
you showed. I think you took a picture of it and showed me one time. Your rig, trying to like show off on me while I got my little my Walmart special, and he's like, "Look what I got! You can start cars with this thing."
It works. It's not like I'm rocking a TIG builder or anything yet.
No, I know.
I do have plans, but
no. Listen, your background is like I know a bunch of people who who do model making for a living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work, like my buddy Jim Gould is a professional model maker.
I know Jim.
Jim makes fucking models. He goes to work all day and he's building models, and he comes home and builds models. And you do a good job with it. That's why I think it translates well to the sci-fi stuff, because you can kind of get away with a lot of it, the stuff that you do with the Gundams and scratch building. because you get away with that on the Gundams. You can't get away with that one.
Dude, I get away with all the shit, and sometimes I don't. Like fucking the Flea. You talked about the Flea for a second. That I built for a little contest called the Original Mecha Contest that was put on by my buddy John Kaminsky. The first year that was out, it was basically a build your own robot mecha sort of deal. It just like had loose criteria, but it was like, this is a contest for creativity. It doesn't have to be a Gundam. It doesn't have to be a Machining Krieger. It doesn't have to be pink, you know, whatever the fuck it is. Just like build to your heart's content. And then we'll get this group of world renowned judges to judge the work, you know, all online. And then like, you know, you give you your mushroom stamp of glory or whatever, you know, you just get like, I got like a model trophy like from it, and like obviously I love it and I love that group, and I'm not trying to pass any sort of like shade on Jonathan, because Jonathan's a friend of mine. I actually went on to help host the show for several years, and now I've taken a back seat from that, but that one, so built that for that, and it also coincided because I built it out of like 17 Gundam kits plus a bunch of stuff that I built like scratched and then molded and then cast, and then I made some of the other parts out of it out of like, you know, protein scoopers from my muscle milkshakes and like whatever the fuck it is, you know. And,
yeah, but that's why that shit's creative though, man. Yeah, I mean, right? Like, I mean, Justin does that stuff too with some things.
Sometimes
put that thing into GBWC, and then on the very front of it, I used one part that wasn't a Bandai part. So most of it was Bandai, but one part of it specifically wasn't a Bandai part. It was on the very front of it, and oh my god, did people lose their fucking minds?
They DQ'd you or what?
They didn't DQ me. No, because you're allowed 20% or something like that, alternate parts or whatever, you know, and everything I used other than the, like, you know, that one Kotobukiya part and like a couple of other parts was all fucking Bandai or like scratch built and cast myself. So like,
so there was no scratch built and cast yourself counts, or is that part of the 20%?
I think that at that time it did count. So that's why there's so many rules now. It's because of people like me that do that shit. But it's still literally like if I take a part that it's a Bandai part and I've modified it, and I've got this part or this like assembly of parts, and I need 4 of them. I could go through and get all the extra kits and do all of the modification and do all that lineup, or I could just make a couple of molds really fast and do it, because I can do that, and it's part of the skill set. I think that should be like brought up more in the, you know, it's like not necessarily is quote unquote easy as 3D printing, because I'm not just like creating it in, you know, on the computer in the round, which does take talent and it takes a lot of skill and stuff, right? But instead I'm building it manually and making a basically a master or a buck, and then making a silicone mold of that, and then having the ability to then take that and make it repeatable, consistent. Because like a consistent repeatable model kit, like I made that first one that Rob showed up, the full city Gundam from Iron Blooded Orphans, that's a full resin kit that I made in my bedroom in Brooklyn, you know, like making scratch built parts or customized parts and then making molds of it and then casting it. So I have like several of those kits.
Misi's asking if you do all mostly scratch build, and are you switching to go to 3D print?
I have a 3D printer. I have had it for 2 years. It is still in the box that it came in. It was gifted to me by one of the homies on the podcast. And you
guys get gifts from guys on your podcast? I got nothing.
It was from Kyle. It was from Kyle on the podcast. Like my partner on the podcast gave it to me.
That's nice.
Articulating is that he never gets anything from anybody.
Yeah. Well, Justin, your mic is bad, Justin. I don't know what happened.
I'm working on it.
Try to work on it, because you're delayed and it's really bad. So try to fix that mic while we're doing. This is what live is all about right now. Seriously, you got to figure that out. Listen, man, there's going to be a live cast soon. We're going back and forth between how you're talking about going with the traditional scratch building and building things by hand and things like that with materials and 3D print. That is going to be an episode soon going to be happening here on this live cast. And it might get really bloody. It's going to get bloody, man. And I'm looking forward to it, because I'm going to say a lot of crazy shit when we have that conversation. And because I really believe like what you do, Brian, like that crab guy. Is that the Flea? Is that what you're talking about?
That's the Flea. Yeah.
You know what? I should put it up and show everybody, because it is pretty. I have it
4 legs, double chain guns. giant ammo pods on the
really
back.
freaking. I mean,
wild.
really freaking cool. And
it was originally going to be a two-headed dragon. Two-headed dragon, like the one from.
I want. You know what? I should see if I can show this really quick. We're going to try to see this here. Image file. I'm going to see if this is my first time doing this, but I'm going to give it a try. Because you really did a great job on this thing, and it's something to. It was a sight to behold when I saw it in person here. Let me see here. Oh, here it is. Let me see if it works.
What about a laser cutter?
That guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the flea. Yeah.
That was a pretty. I mean, you built that whole thing, man.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's my own design. It's all made from like weird Gundam parts and Macross parts, and you know, my own, like I said, my own custom parts.
I got put Frankie D on the screen here.
The ammo pods are the bodies of the Gusian, the 100 scale Gusian frog Gusian. Like there's like there's a gray, like a tan Gusian, and then there's a green Gusian that looks more like a frog or whatever.
Do we lose?
So those are the bodies of that I like.
I'm still there.
Why?
He's off the screen.
I don't know, because you started moving shit around.
There we go. You're back now. No, we're just still trying to learn this thing, but that was a pretty interesting thing. When we moved our little area, our little grid got a little mixed up. Now Brian's on the right of my screen. I don't know if that's how it is for everybody. So everybody moved around a little bit.
You should be able to drag us around as
that doesn't matter. Does it really matter where people are? I mean, I feel bad that Justin's on top of you because I would be upset about that too, but we'll be okay.
We'll survive.
It's all right. I've been doing my calisthenics.
We'll survive. So Brian, I know that you know one of the things that we started to do with you is you're starting to do an article doing stuff for Fantasy Figure International, right? We got Sean as a contributor.
Yep.
And how is that now for you to try to get something done with that?
Well, so I feel a lot of pressure on it because I care and I want to do, you know, my best and put my best foot forward to help with the community, because it's really about inspiring people and showing what you can do with, you know, what you get out of the box for me. With this kit, which I'm not going to spoil and show right now, it is cool and it's dynamic in the way that it was built, but it needed a fair amount of work. But the mecha part of it itself is pretty straightforward. It's just a robot or whatever. It's when I got into doing the actual figure part, hence the fantasy figure element, that makes me care so much about it, that I wanted to pull as much like realism and accuracy into it as I could. And so I got back to my art school days and whipped out the, you know, epoxy putty and started sculpting. And
Dwayne is about laser cutting. Did you ever use a laser cutter? I never really used.
I have. I mean, I haven't used a laser cutter in my home hobby stuff. When I was a metal worker, we'd plasma cutting. I torch cut. You know, I've used all manner of cutting implements. I don't have a problem with people that use laser cutters. I mean, there's a lot, like that guy cut transform glue. I think his name is what is his real name? I know him. Anyways,
well, I must say, if you know his name.
Well, no,
I forget people's names all the time.
The problem with knowing so many people is like being able to pull their, like, you know, their actual, you know, incognito name or whatever out of the thin air. See, I think. Oh yeah, I think that's the same. I think we're probably talking about the same person.
Who is this? What am I missing? Who's saying something? Oh, you're reading the chat?
Yeah, I'm reading the chat and
I see W does a lot of laser cut build, and Tim Berg is saying this. I don't know any of these people, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Andrew Meese's giving you a hard time.
Andrew's always giving me a host of like slow motion train wreck. Listen, man, we're trying right now. But like Frankie Donati's throwing all these things up, and we want people to interact a little bit. Andrew's so judgy here, you know. I was going to get him on soon as a guest on this live chat. He's been on the podcast too many times. He ain't coming on now.
Fuck that guy.
You leave my Andrew alone.
Yeah.
Ow.
Back to what we were saying about the doing stuff for the magazine. It's a different ball game now when you're building.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think it's really good to it's a definitely a different level or a different aspect of the hobby when you're doing something on the publishing side. You know,
so I've been published and I've taken photography for publishing before. I was in the second Models for Ukraine book with Chris Meddings.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I was published in like comic book magazines when I was a kid, but like the scope for one of the models dramatically huge compared to the one that I built for that. And the focus on taking quality photos, because I know what I want to see out of a model article, especially for something like this. So I'm doing my best to try and like capture those moments and those elements, as well as record down, you know, my thoughts on it, so that one of those copy guys over there can digest it and make it, you know, not 25 pages long like it is right now.
Right.
Yeah, and then really just like going the extra mile is like what is for me is taking a little bit of the longest, and it is very taxing. So putting a lot of energy into it, and I feel like a little bit of like shame, I guess I'll say, for lack of a better term, because I'm not getting it done right away. And
you don't have, there's no time frames with that.
I know, but I just for myself, you know, my own little in my brain makes I want to get that shit done and get it, you know, like off to the presses or whatever. But at the same time, I really want to put my best foot forward and make sure that I'm doing my absolute best job on it. It's nothing worse than open up a modeling magazine, seeing an article, seeing the person's getting promotion, and then seeing it like an obvious error that just will grind me. I can't let it happen.
No, you're gonna do a great job, and I think that having you on board as a contributor for that magazine, which is really good. Hillary's just got on the part of the cover last issue. You missed the Mike. Yeah, Mike he's a big shot now. You can't even get.
Oh yeah,
he won't even answer your messages right now. If you message him, he's a big shot.
No, Riv, that's you. He won't answer your messages.
I answer my messages all the time. What are you talking about? Your mic is still terrible, man. I don't know what you did today. You had to get the new laptop. You couldn't wait.
And I'm on a laptop now. I'm working on it, trying to get the Logitech.
I don't know, man. It's a microphone, for Christ's sake. It sounds like you sound like Spock when he was inside that nuclear that radioactive thing in it's Star Trek 2 when he was getting all burnt up. That's what you sound like when he was
the old thing about.
Yeah, that's what you sound like. You're reverberating like Spock. But it's all right. You'll be okay. So, Brian, we're going to circle back.
It'll be okay.
Rob, you want to say anything else before we move on?
No, I'm good.
What the hell are you here for? You don't want to ask me questions.
I'm just reading this here. My wife's texting me like fucking crazy right now. So
I got you worried about text from your wife. I got Justin worried about this guy going to unlock his car because he locked his keys in his car.
No. My son locked the keys.
Whatever. You're having a problem over here.
Basically.
You're having a problem over here.
So good news, though. My son got the clean bill of health today from his doctor.
Nice.
And the only restriction is he's never allowed to scuba dive in his entire life.
He'll be all right. It's a good thing that you're not you're landlocked, right? You don't have too many like oceans by you. So
no, I don't have any oceans by me.
Yeah, you'll be all right. He'll survive. He'll survive. All right. So Brian, we talked about a few things, but I wanted to talk about like your inspirations as a modeler. Like,
cool.
We talked about a bunch of stuff, like you talked about, you know, how you like to build your models, because you do build a lot of different things. Like when I met you and the first time I saw your work was at a mosquito con. Yeah. And you're like, oh, yeah. And you're telling me how you built this Gundam. And then you told me how you built this car. And I'm like, so vastly different subjects. Like, here's me, like when I built it.
Remember?
You're building the Messerschmitt. You're building
the 109.
You built like a Porsche car or a car that day with a green car or whatever.
The best part about it all is painted in Mission Models, baby.
God, I know you talked about Mission Models. Don't even get me started on Mission Models paints, man. Oh man, that was a big controversial episode with Mission Models paint, man. I heard that guy who owns that place.
I don't mind him.
He caught wind of that, man. Well, you don't mind Mission Model paints?
No.
Do people still use Mission Model paint?
I do. I have several.
Really? They still
I use all paints though. Thing is, I use everything, so it's not like I'm just I only use one kind of paint. Like who the fuck only uses one kind of paint? Get out of the Stone Age.
The only person I hear people using Mission Model paints is Frankie Blanton. I don't hear anybody else talk about Mission Model paints anymore. I thought they went out of business.
Riv, there's an entire Facebook group of Mission Models users.
What? There really is? How many
Absolutely.
people in that group? Like 10?
I don't know. I'm in the group, but
is it an open group? Can you just join, or do I have, like, would I be able, if I tried to join that group, would they approve? You know what's funny? Talk about groups, and we're going to segue it in, but we're going to talk about inspiration in a minute. But this is a funny story. So, someone's like, "Oh yeah, this is great model. You got to see it." I'm like, "Okay, where is it at?" He's like, "Oh, it's on Weathered Models." I'm like, "All right, I think I'm a member of that group," and I'm like, "I don't see the group. I don't see the group." I got banned from Weathered Models Facebook group. Why? I have no idea. I never remembered ever posting on that. I never post anything that's going to cause a problem. Why
you
would
have
they?
No idea.
Why would they fucking ban me from Weathered Models for? Like, wouldn't, like, I don't know.
Probably because you don't weather a fucking model.
Whatever the case may be,
Sometimes
is just, I know everything. Regardless of if you weather or don't weather, why would I be banned from the group? Like, you have to like find someone's name and fucking ban them. So if I've never posted on that group, someone went out of their way to ban me from it. Why?
Who's the admin? 1,000 people.
Isn't Meddings an admin at Weathered Models? Who is a fucking admin at Weathered Models? Could someone find out? We need to do a class action.
Right now. Mission Models fan page has 3.1 thousand members.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of people that like Mission Models.
3.1, so 3,000-ish people. That's not bad.
I mean, it's not my go-to paint, but they definitely, a lot of their colors, I like them. Like their red oxide is really good.
I know, man. Let me keep the illusion of busting balls about Mission Models, please. It drives people crazy that I say that it sucks.
Honestly, like my fave acrylic paint to use is a weird paint line called Bloodlines by Createx.
Oh,
it is like almost like an illustrative ink more so than it is like a paint. Like Justin rocks wicked. He has a great job, like great time with that. I tried that in the past. It doesn't work with the way that I paint. That's the thing about all these paint companies and different things. It's like there's so many of them out there. Like just go with what works for you, right? I think I'm parroting what you guys have said in the past.
Yep.
But yeah, so like I like it because I don't use this fucking bullshit poly that comes with it or whatever, and then I chip with it, and I do hairbrush chipping, I do reductive chipping. A lot of my stuff is real chipped. I don't do splotchy with the sponge. I do reductive stuff, so that works really well.
Hold on, just you saying reductive, like what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. What is reductive?
That means I'm pulling it away from the surface. So I have a full surface and I'm reducing it. I'm pulling it back. I'm breaking it down to get the actual chips out. And I'll do like so that you showed that one Gundam that has like the big axe. He's all rusty.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I painted that thing. Thank you. I painted that. I did a ton of custom work on it. I based it. I sprayed what it should look like as the actual like original Gundam out of the box, and then I coated all that in hairspray, and then I sprayed the colors of the desert stuff on top of that or whatever, like, and then multi layers of spray paint. So it was the base layer base layer hairspray, actual color hairspray, top color, and then I chipped through everything and went through multiple layers of paint and wore it all back so that you got all of the different layers without going through sequentially and chipping and then painting over and chipping and then all that stuff. So yeah, that was the first time I'd ever done that.
Okay.
And I won a contest with it or something, a couple of them, and it's just because of like my material science understanding and my working with actual metal for so long prior to that I know what I'm trying to achieve. Like I know what the fucked up metal is supposed to look like before I even put a piece of put a X-Acto blade to a styrene to cut a piece of plastic to add anything. So like knowledge.
What is so you know what that's a great. So I know we were going to talk about inspiration, but this is a nice little discussion right now, and I'm liking this because I did get messages from people saying that they wanted to hear more about techniques on a lot of these shows, not just like this bullshit discussions about what people's techniques are, especially you, Brian, who does a lot of stuff. So you're talking about doing metal. So this is the question I'm going to ask you, and it's something that I struggled as when I do paint models. Mr. Frank fucking Donati is going to put a banner across this thing again. But no, in all seriousness, what's your go-to color to make steel? Color, like a night, not like when like a lot of these colors, like Vallejo metal colors, the steel looks too shiny to me. I'm talking about like not a rusted steel, but like steel like in its pure form. What would be your go-to color for a steel color?
Okay.
Looks like he's got a big answer for this color.
Yeah, to take a breath.
What kind of steel? For one, it's what kind of steel, right? So hear me out.
Yeah.
If you're talking about I-beams, right? I-beams have a certain color to them and a certain surface texture to them, and the color and the surface texture are what sells the I-beam, right? When you cut an I-beam, the end of the I-beam is completely different color. And depending on how it was cut, it's going to have a completely different color.
Right.
So, if you're talking about hot rolled steel versus cold rolled steel, versus like DOM, something that's drawn over mandrel that's basically pickled, right? Like
hey Brian,
oil.
I'm gonna cut it down to a nice short answer for you. What's your go-to color for steel? Yes.
It's like but it comes down to a lot of it comes down to research and figuring out where you're starting from towards where you're going to. And
what type of
my
steel,
favorite,
yada, yada.
my favorite shiny metal color, if you just want my favorite shiny metal color, my go-to shiny metal color for under stuff is, and I think Matt McDougall also rocks this too. This is the old model. This is TO24 from a company called Modo that no longer exists.
Oh, well, that's a lot.
So what then? What is
hang on.
alternate?
Here's the new one. No, here's the new. Actually, this one, Neo. They're called Neo Color. So that's the new model. Yeah, it's Neo Color, and then my other.
And that's
one
a good
really
that's a good base color for a natural metal color.
Yep, that works on matte and it works on gloss both ways. I went under so I did a Grosserhand machining Krieger, but I added extra arms to it and made them brighter on the back, and I called it Quado because Quado, and yes, thank you. And that one was based almost entirely in this metal color right here. It's just called iron.
So is that a lacquer paint?
An iron color, okay.
Yeah, it's lacquer. Yep, that's lacquer. I always rock all my metallics are lacquer. I used to try to fuck with acrylics, but you don't get the right base out of it. Always go with that. So I also really like a company called Gaia Notes. You guys ever heard of Gaia Notes?
Yeah,
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Kind of hard to get it here in the States, though, but you can get them.
Yeah, you can get it. They're super chrome, really, really good for a chrome, like super duper good. It works really well with the all clad gloss black base. I know people are like, why do you use all clad? You could just use regular. I'm like, because it works.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, GX2, GX2 is a nice color too. That's a good.
Of course, but it's different.
Yeah.
Right.
You know that. Yeah. But it works.
I use the all clad too. Yeah.
Right,
and you can also spray black acrylic and coat it a bunch of times with the 113 UV cut, and then polish it, and you'll have a super glossy black. But that's so much work,
right?
Exactly.
No, but that's interesting because I know that a lot of people struggle with those metal colors or what's like a more of a natural metal color, and that's something that's burnished, like you said, when you cut something, or like that sheeny type of metal. I'm talking about like when you see like a tank like in a factory before it's painted type of thing.
Well, what about a tank that's all fucking burned out like Meddings is, right?
Right, something like what Meddings does.
Meddings tapped me, and I fed him a bunch of information about burnout.
You see, Meddings, I hope you're listening. You see,
of course, because friend, we talk to each other. This is the new age of modeling.
Listen,
we all share our information.
I share secrets too. I mean, you want how to build a model? I'm the guy. You want to paint it? I go to you. Or not Rob Adams, that's for sure.
I mean, it's like seriously, just like I'm just talking about metal though. So that's like me being worked as a metal worker for almost 20 years.
That's why. What do you think I asked you this question for? If you listen,
I know.
If you were a carpet guy, I would ask you what the best carpet color is to do your carpet in a car. I'm asking about metal because you work with metal, for Christ's sake. I know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm running.
I know, I'm your guy. You're good.
So I wanted to point out that Dwayne actually mentioned that Night Shift just did a video all about that steel, and that was a crazy, complicated. The answer is yes type of paint job.
Yeah, I gotta. You know what?
I haven't watched that episode.
I don't really watch.
Be good, right?
I don't really watch. I hate saying it, but I don't really watch a lot of YouTube stuff. It's funny that we're doing this on YouTube, but I don't really get an opportunity to watch a lot of video of anything because there's just so much going on. But that's interesting, Brian. I'm glad you kind of gave a little insight in that stuff. Hopefully, people take some notes.
Yeah, We can just keep talking about metal all night if you wanted to.
Like, no, listen, that's I wanted to. We want, dude, like I said, a couple of messages.
Cool shit.
I got a couple. I got multiple messages from people asking about to use the LiveCast as a way to talk about also techniques and stuff, which I think is good. And I thought you would be somebody that would be really insightful on that because of what you do, because you're using your techniques. Like for instance, you know, we get a car guy on in cars, plane guy, whatever, but you do multiple genres. Like you're doing planes, like I said, cars, Gundam, sci-fi. You're also doing some of these obscure other things that you do, marques, and you're using these techniques. And I guess it's going to vary. Like painting a car is totally different than painting, you know, an armored tank or a freaking Gundam.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, here's a painted Gundam. It's also customized, but we're not going to get too deep into it.
You don't have to do. What is that like a? Looks like a Zaku from the waist down.
It's a customized comfort.
I have no idea what that is, but some of the people watching might
know. It's from War in the Pocket. It's like one of my favorite and one of the most well, they're all sad, but one of the saddest Gundam stories. It's a Christmas one. I always watch it around Christmas.
Gundam's stories are sad.
Yeah,
what, the pilots are dying, or the Gundams
all the time,
or robots,
but pilots and then people are then like. Watch Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt will fuck you up. And it's one of my favorites, man. And it's a lot of jazz too, which is really kind of cool.
There you go. But
that's Robot Jocks, Riv.
Robot Jocks. Okay.
I remember that.
But that's cool. So these techniques, like I said, you're using similar techniques across the genres, but they're going to vary depending on what you're building and how you're building it, right?
Yeah,
lead belcher.
Lead belcher.
So techniques that I've used for here, this is kind of like this is a work in progress still. Oh, it looks really much better than I did before. So, and then here's one of the cars.
Right.
So it's the same kind of like, you know, you can see the super shiny, glossy, high-end, you know, thing. And it's the same thing, goes into the Gundams, but it's just like a different format.
Different format, different steps in there, doing one and the other.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your decals for like Gundams, you order the decal special from like Gundam USA and places like that?
USA Gundam Store? Yeah, sometimes I'll pull some stuff from Adam. We are like our podcast is kind of like sponsored by USA Gundam Store. I was on the build team for a number of years before Adam dissolved it. So like, yeah, I'm in tight with them. I'm also tight with the another company that you guys might not know about. It's called Galactic Toys out of Michigan. Check them out. They're really cool. They have a lot of good stuff.
Galactic Toys.
Never heard of them.
There's a Gundams. Isn't there like
check them out?
Is there a store like in the Bronx that's supposed to be good, like a Gundam store that sells a lot of Gundam stuff? Am I right about that?
There is actually. There is a store that is. It's in. Is it in the Bronx or is it out in? Where is it? Because there's one that's just across the river called Gundam Planet, and then there's one that's not in the Bronx. It's in, I think it's in Queens.
Oh, it might be Queens. It might be Queens.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in LIC or if it's north of LIC, but
it might be. Here we got Tim asking a question. Do you do back to your chipping? You do several layer paint, hairspray, then chip through all the layers at once?
It depends. Honestly, it depends on what you're going to do. So I did that on purpose because I had a whole theme behind it. Like the idea behind it was based under this Gundam story called MS Igloo, which is like 1990s era computer animation Gundam. But there are some really crazy stories in there about like generals or mobile suit fighters or whatever that have been fighting on the battlefield for so long that they become like possessed by the spirit of death. So like that Zaku originally had blue wings, like the resin wings that I make. Like I sculpted out of clay, and then I made a mold and blah blah. You've seen the other ones. You saw the other one.
I saw one of Mosquito Con with the wings. That thing was insane.
That one is those wings, but I recast. I used the molds again and then cast, and then I did like 50 or 60 hours of sculpting on them, like with a rotary tool, just carving, feathers and like making it all like, light and beautiful.
Oh God.
For that one. Yeah, dude, it's fucking dope though. It looks great.
No, it looks all good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and people are always like, where'd you get those wings? I was like, well, I took some monster clay and I looked up some vulture wings on the internet and I sculpted them, and then I made molds, and then I cast them, and then I spent a lifetime cleaning them up.
Right.
And then people are like, "Can I buy them?" No. Maybe not. No.
Well, I mean, yeah. Did I give
The
you
price
any,
is right.
Justin? No, I can. I don't think I gave any to Justin yet. No, I gave some to Julio. We got to get Julio down to a meeting. Oh, Lucas, what was it? You'd like to see it? I can show you any pictures you want, buddy. Anytime.
Look at Luca. Look at Luca. He's the channel. He's not just Lucas C. He's Lucas C channel.
Well, he probably doesn't have a private
or Matt for that matter. Yeah, why would he want to be on there?
Joke?
That's what you call a guy with no arms and no legs laying in front of your door. Matt.
Yeah.
Good God.
All right, so let's move this on really quick. Let's go with the techniques. Inspiration for you, Brian, because like I said, for like the 5th time tonight, of all the stuff that you do. Like I remember when we first, we talked a lot prior in video and chat, meeting in person when I were at Mosquito Con a few years back. You're like, oh yeah, look, come see what I brought, and you show me the Gundam, you show me this, and you're like, oh, I did a car. I'm like, you do cars? He's like, yeah, I do cars. He's like, I do it all. And I'm like, holy shit, man. And you placed that Mosquito Con with that car too.
Yes. Yeah, I got a second
whatever
place.
Dude, there was like 100, there was like 150, 200 cars at that show. You did good on that thing.
I got two awards. Yeah, I got 3rd place. I got 2 or 3rd place.
Whatever. Third, you placed a Mosquito Con. That's a good thing. But
I got a best in show from there too. Or sorry, 1st place from there too. Anyway,
look at this, Mister. Look at this. He's a guy.
I got a plaque up there that says Gundam GBWC winner best in show, signed by fucking Tomio. Like,
look at this guy, man. I thought you were bad, Rob. Christ.
Meijin Kawaguchi went on a live stream, put up my photos of my work, and goes, "It appears that this builder has laser focus." Like, that's how they started calling me Brofessor Laser Hands. Like, it's just like. This is all ancient history. So.
No, man, you do great stuff, Brian. I mean, it'd be nice if you had a better attitude, but that's besides the point. I'm only kidding.
Hold on, now show us some of your metalworking skills.
Rob wants to see.
He's gonna get the welding machine out with his welding mask.
No. Rob wants to see my show.
This is something that Adam gets a boner for.
Yeah,
Rob loves this. This is how Rob and I first bonded on the Modeling Insanity live group. The
build room.
What do you call it?
It was Messenger at that time.
Back in the day when we did Messenger. Hold on, listen. Is it inappropriate? Are we gonna get kicked off of YouTube if you hold this thing up? Oh, let's make it sure, man. I don't want to have any problems.
No, it's a proper. So I make prop replicas for a long time. I made a lot of Borderlands weaponry, building out, designing, and stuff like that.
Is great,
dude. Yeah, you've seen my guns, Rob, right? So I made full-size Borderlands gun kits. That's where I got into casting. I made my roto casting machine. But before that, I made some like one-offs of some fun things. Like I made a 80-inch Dark Souls Black Knight Ultra Greatsword with dual repose brass hammered out like lion's heads on the 2 sides of it. Like I taught myself how to do repose, which is fucking
awesome stuff, but very, very geeky, Brian. This is a very geeky. This conversation is going on the realm of like, we're lucky we're married men. Like if we weren't married, we would not be finding many women with the discussions we're having tonight.
I definitely got married before I got way more weird with my art. That's for sure. So Atlas for the win. Nice. I made a Malawan.
Is that a Freddy glove?
Yeah, I got my Nightmare glove on.
Let me see it. Put it up.
You just fucking ruined it, you bastard.
Oh, I see it.
I make a lot of shit. I made a lot of shit. Oh, you saw the finger. I make a lot of stuff, and so I was like, I wanted to do the Freddy glove. I always wanted a Freddy glove. I'm a big guy. I got big hands. It's hard to find one that fits. So I made one that fits.
Look at that, man.
Yeah.
That is freaking cool, bro. Holy shit. That's as big as Justin's head.
Nah.
Yeah, it's oversized because I'm kind of oversized, but like the blades are only supposed to be 5 inches long. I believe these ones are 8 inches long. Yeah, well, no. But
5 inches of the size.
The imposition. It's made out of bronze. This is actually bronze plating that I cut and hammered out and riveted, and then the glove was actually a white glove. I dyed it brown and cut a big hole in the center of it and then mounted it into the here. The blades are made out of aircraft grade aluminum. These are 6160 aircraft grade aluminum. And when I first made it, I had to cut them out on an iron worker because we didn't have anything that was strong enough to cut the metal in the right shape. So I cut them out with this big, like, chompy iron worker thing. And then I polished them. I sharpened them down like super duper sharp. As you can see, they're very nice. And then I polished them. And then I cut myself, and I instantly took the edge off of them because it was dangerous, like super dangerous.
Cut your balls with.
Just make sure that you don't fall asleep with that glove on, and you know what I mean.
You're gonna fall asleep with this on.
You give yourself a circumcision. Just nip the tip.
More Wolverine size. No, the blades for sure. And I have actually made Wolverine props for people. I've made all sorts of.
That's really things. Cool stuff, Brian. This is going above and beyond. I didn't. I mean, you know what? I remember Rob, I do remember you mentioning that he made a Freddy glove one time.
Oh, I probably mentioned it more than
No. I remember you were telling me about it. No, because you were stoked about it. Because it's something
I am stoked about
that you actually, I think, were talking about trying to make yourself because you had one, but you wanted to make a new one, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and you can actually fairly easily get the pattern for the fingers and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to commission him to build it for me.
You did, yeah. I remember initially you had mentioned that to me in our first conversation about that.
Bob, you have very small hands.
Actually, I bought a replica one. I can't remember which company it is now, but
the big company, if I remember it. Yeah, it's the one that makes them. Yeah.
Yeah, and my hand's too small for it. Yeah, I can't get it to work.
Well, I can easily make you one. I need to get a TIG welder. To be honest with you, I need to like rerun power at the house. It costs a lot of money to do that shit. I don't have that money yet. But Freddy glove, fuck me. That's right, man.
You let me know, and I'll pay the price, bro. It's all good.
Listen, man, this is what I'm talking about. You do everything, man. You're like a prop guy. You're making all these different things. And
Don Johnson
look, Jonathan even said it. We need more prop makers out there. That's
yeah.
But that's the thing, though. Why wouldn't that be able to be something that you could put maybe on a stand and bring it to a show as like a miscellaneous thing?
Well, because it's got metal blades. That could be a
problem. I mean, it is a sculpture for what it's worth. I made a hand out of metal that's on my front deck now because it actually because of the shape of the glove, I needed to make it articulated, and I didn't want to make the hand articulated. I just made a hand out of metal parts, and but that was the idea, was to have a stand for it so that it could be displayed cool.
Well, what's so wrong? Because if he casted it and made things and painted it just because the blades are metal, what about models that have metal barrels?
At Comic-Con, they check your shit before
Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, for that, yeah.
Comic-Con,
and at Comic-Con they check.
What there's a show at Comic-Con?
No. I'm just saying if you're.
Oh, you mean to like bring it in there as a prop?
If you're doing cosplay,
if you wanted to show it off.
Oh, because they don't want you stabbing people, I guess.
That's why I hollow cast all my props, like my guns and all that kind of stuff. And it's all very brightly colored.
I can understand why they did it at Comic-Con. I
did go to a show, and I brought my PG red frame, and I had the Gabera straight looking all like, they're like, you can't bring that in here because it looked like real metal. Because I dulled the chrome down and everything.
Like, come on, man.
Wait, so.
And I had to show them. I'm like, it's not metal. See? And they're like,
I mean, they're afraid of people like doing like nefarious things at Comic-Con, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of people walking around with a lot of massive shit that you could do some damage with. That's for sure.
No, I understand that. I mean, but I can understand why they wouldn't want it, right? You don't want people walking around with a real knife on their fucking hands.
No, of course not. Just accident, something
right?
Like this.
Just accidentally doing something, whatever. You're in the bathroom, not paying attention. A couple beers, you forget you have your Freddy glove on. Or in the bathroom.
I don't think you're gonna forget you had that thing on.
You never know, man. I've seen Brian get a little wasted too. I don't know what's going on.
Wasted. No, but they're on. Like, in the I get wasted all the time.
Exactly.
I would get wasted.
Me too.
But the prop guns and stuff like that, I brought those through to the because I'm part of the MFCA club. They've said that would probably be good at, like, say, the Long Island show, Rob. So
you're gonna come to Long Island? Have you ever been there?
Yeah, this year I'm coming to Long Island. Yeah, we're 100% sure.
Well, we'll go out to dinner. Are you coming down for both days or just the one?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take.
Hillary usually stays at a hotel.
I know. Yeah, we're gonna stay at the Botel probably and fucking party it up.
Yeah. We're gonna get Greg the Franco on. We're gonna get Greg DeFranco on a
Greg is
podcast
such a
just to
cool
promote
guy.
the figure show a little bit. I think he's a great
Hell
guy.
yeah.
Great guy, Greg DeFranco. That's a nice club. All right, let's talk about something here.
My psychosis with color theory and like my obsessive
was just bring up color.
Really, like
bring up the color.
I think I impressed DeFranco with my like obsession with that shit this year.
You know what? Before you should tell DeFranco you want to do a seminar there about doing that stuff.
What?
They got to bring back seminars to Long Island Figure Show again.
Oh, like that. I see what you're saying.
Like do a seminar or something.
I don't know if I can put something together. Maybe
they should do that.
The MFCA club.
Maybe.
There you go.
I like to just go there and take my book of notes and read stuff and blow people's minds with some weird esoteric theory about everyone liking the same color, but us all seeing color waves differently.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What's Misi saying here? Misi's saying, look at this. Riv's a great host. Thank you. I appreciate it, Misi. After all the nasty things you said about me tonight, that's, now we got to do that. All right. So we're going back to the original question before we talked about steel and colors and Freddy knives and stuff, which I think was great to talk about because I think the prop making is great. Inspiration. So obviously we know what inspired you of why you wanted to do your Freddy glove. But what inspires you to just like go from Gundam to car to plane to this to that? Like, what makes you tick, Brian? To let people know.
Wow. I guess it really is kind of it's kind of squirrel, right? A little bit of that. It's like follow the shiny thing, and it's whatever like my weirdly neurally divergent brain focuses on, so I can be very like hyper focused on a thing and then like just leave it alone.
Clear the bench and
like who inspires you for Gundam? Like who is you who like I don't know if anybody in the chat is here as a big Gundam guy. I know Rob knows a little bit about Gundams, but I know a few Gundam guys that are local, like a bunch of the guys that go like to Long Island shows or even at Mosquito Con. That are really good Gundam builders, but who do you look up to as a Gundam builder?
Julio.
It's a big sigh.
Julio.
The fucking Julio? Are you kidding me? No, I love Julio. I love Julio. He's my brother. Don't get me wrong. No, and I love all my boys. And the thing about it is, I don't idolize.
No, not idolize, but who you got to get inspired by a model, right?
I'm inspired by everybody. I'm inspired by everything that I see everywhere all the time.
Is that what makes you motivate you to try something different? Is seeing something
what motivates me to try something different, or what is literally like I'm trying to fill a hole in a way, right? Like I want to make something that hasn't been giggity. What hasn't been seen before, because like I love being excited about my work. I get really excited about my stuff, and I really love talking to people about our shared hobby. That is clearly obvious. And like when like Justin and I are together in the shop and looking at kits and just waxing philosophical, talking about ideas and looking at like, that is the thing that inspires me, in that moment. Or like if I'm doom scrolling Instagram on the commuter train in the morning and I'm just like seeing little bits and pieces of what other people are trying to work at, that also can inspire me, because I can see, you'll see trends. Like what is the trend that's going down? Like, is there a way that I can influence that trend in a positive way? Like, would my participation in that activity or that group build or that hashtag or whatever the fuck it might be, is that going to be worthwhile for my efforts to put into it to get positivity back into the community, to grow the community? Because that's really, for me, that's kind of what it's always been from the get-go. Even when I was just a little kid drawing the Crow over and over again in the 90s, or not a kid, I was a teenager, but like that was just to like, hone my skills and inspire other people, or try and draw an emotion out of people to help them want to be creative. You know, that's really the deal. Like I've always considered myself a rainmaker, and I always want to try and fulfill that in my life and bring people into the hobby and bring people into that creative expression that is like uplifting and fulfilling. So there's so many things in this world that fucking beat us down all the time, and it's hard to fight through that, to even to find 15 minutes a day to sit at your workbench and do something positively creative and not just sit there and stare at it and be defeated. So like, if I can let some of my like psychotic infectious energy like out there, is more, the more the merrier, the more that I can.
Well,
like,
we've like-minded on that. That's the whole idea about a lot of this stuff. Like, you know, people say, well, how do you got the time to do all this stuff? Speaking of me and us as a group, between this podcast, Insanity, between the quarter scale now, between the doing this now live and doing a YouTube channel, doing stuff, other stuff in the hobby. It's like, where do you find the time? But in a lot of ways, it's like, if I wasn't doing this, I'd go crazy.
Oh yeah,
I go crazy.
Yeah, Justin's doing stuff at Joe's Train Track. He's at the MFCA. He's the voice of the MFCA. He's the same way. He's all singing. We're all singing all dancing crap of the world, boys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, you need something to keep you going.
It's over there.
And the screens are all messed up. But you know, listen, when it comes to this hobby, you also, I know you too, Brian, you want to inspire people, right? You want to give people, the reason why you do some of the stuff is hopefully people will take a chance and try some things on their own, right?
Yes.
You got to be creative. You know, that's what this hobby is about. It's about creativity, you know, and it's good to see a lot of different people, you know, who inspire others, especially with you, with a lot of your stuff. I mean, you know, the Gundam stuff and, you know, the sci-fi things that you do, like when you came to ArmorCon, right? You were at ArmorCon this last year, like, you know, you stood out because there was nobody else there that was doing really much of what you were doing.
Yeah, I brought a fucking car as well.
No, but there was but not just that, but that flea that we showed on screen prior,
right?
That type of
and
stuff
the hover bug,
right. But it's so much different than what other people, at least in our community, right? Rob, Justin. I mean, Justin's involved in MFCA, so he sees a lot of that. But like in the armor world and things like that, you're not really seeing that. Like, I'm not saying that armor modelers aren't creative, right? People who do dioramas and things like that, that they are creative, but there's a mold. There's like a script that you follow, right, Rob? As an armor modeler.
I agree that you know, it's creative, but it's not. You're still within the parameters of where was this, what time, what war was it, blah 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 blah, right? Unless you're painting your tanks pink and putting wings on them or whatever. Yeah, you're
girls versus Panzer, baby, pink tanks.
Right,
well,
but
there you go. I mean,
right.
It's you know, I tend to just get creative with my paint jobs more so than modifying the kit in any way. I just like to paint them different. I turned a Viper into a Academy H-1Z Viper helicopter into a Transformer Decepticon, right? In winter camouflage, took that helicopter at 3 different shows with it. So,
but that's the thing though. You can be creative with the paint jobs, right? In armor and things like that. But with sci-fi and the things that what you do, Brian, is like you can have a vision of something and totally change it, make it your own, and like it could just take a world like. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say this, but like with the stuff that you do with like your Gundams, how like you take a standard Gundam and then you're putting wings on it, or you're changing the legs and out for this, you're kit bashing, you're creating things, you're making molds to make it yours. Like no one else is bringing that Gundam. Let's say you went to a huge Gundam
show. The phrase you're looking for is creative freedom.
Creative freedom. This is why even as bad as Justin's microphone is tonight, and he doesn't realize how bad it is until he listens back at this. He's getting mad at me, but it's okay. Don't worry, dude. We love you, man. I mean, listen. I bring you on so I can look better. How do you like those? That's
Absolutely.
A great answer. If I bring you on, it makes me look
friends.
Yeah. Right. What is he saying back to school? What does he say, Justin?
You want to look thinner.
You want to look thinner? Hang out with fatter friends. An idiot. You're a jerk.
Well, that is one solution.
No, that's true.
Yes.
But yes, creative though. That's the word, Justin. Absolutely. And that's why the MFCA show is such a great show. And I know that we put a video up of it, of the stuff at MFCA. The creativity at that show is amazing. I think you get overwhelmed if you've never been to an MFCA show and you see some of the work that's there. And not just necessarily like the figures and the bust, but I'm talking about the other things like like the stuff that you put your stuff in, Brian. That stuff is like so creative. Like the Warhammer stuff too. It's like it's really overwhelming if you see it in person. You're like, wow, man, like I'm a terrible model.
But modeling is not an art form, not art.
Yeah, it's an art, that's for sure,
art.
man.
Mind you, it's not. Sure. Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, I mean, and yeah, you're right. The variety and the acceptance, the ability for creatives to be able to put their stuff out there and not have to fit a pigeonhole. You know, unfortunately, there is a lot of that, and that's part of competitions, right? They all have parameters. That's just part of the game. But yeah, I will say my first time visiting the MFCA show was a game changer. Not just because that's the first time I met this guy up here, Justin, but and yeah, like I couldn't say anything but fantastic. I swear, for like 3 days, all I said was fantastic. It's fantastic. Everything's fantastic. Oh my god, it's so fantastic. Just because that was fucking stuck in my brain. Like I was overwhelmed by the amount of creative expression, the versatility of model implementation, the variety of
so.
I mean, just the variety of content, just seeing everything. And you got with the MFCA, it's so very historically based, right? So you've got, there are fantasy stuff, like you get a little bit of Gundam, you got like a lot of fantasy growing, you get cool box dioramas, which is rarity. But you get things like flats, like a large display of various artists' flats, not just like one creative working on a flat. Like that is a whole different genre of like, it's just bas relief, but like fully rendered bas relief, and it has such a classic kind of flair to it. And if like, I studied art in college, and so I have that kind of like little bit of a reverence for the that kind of level of creative expression and execution, really, because it's a hard medium to work with. And I mean, it's something that I haven't tackled yet. And so
out of our group of friends, like what you included, obviously in this, Brian, you're one of the most creative when it comes to a lot of things that you do. Justin's up there as well. Rob Adams is pretty creative as well too, when it comes to like some of the things that he does, because he does do that.
Out of Rob's eyes, yeah.
But like I'm always like amazed by the creativity from on the science to sci-fi end. It's really creative, and
there's a lot of freedom there.
And the Marquez, the whole MAK stuff, with like with Link and that stuff with the whole Marquez thing. That's another way for like armor builders to be a little more expressive too, because you're able to like use your imagination on what this could be, and there's like really no right, Rob. There's really no standard on that stuff, right? I mean,
no.
On the Marquez, like I mean, it could be like World War II colors, but it also doesn't have to be.
It's widely accepted that you can do them whatever you want. Like even the Marquez purists, I think, accept the fact that people are going to do these in hot rod themes or whatever they're going to do, right? But they all they want to do is say, you built a Marquez kit, cool.
You know who did that, Brian? This Floyd. Did a Falke, right? In like a race car blue.
Yeah. He did the Falk in the fucking G40.
It was really fucking awesome.
GT, in the GT color.
I remember it was like he did a great job on it. It was such a different take on it.
Yeah, well, exactly. The Gulf. Yeah.
I don't know. What did he have it at? Did he get it at Mosquito Con? Right? Did he get it at Mosquito Con?
He did. He bring it? He had an MFC. No, he had a Mosquito Con. He didn't bring it to MFCA.
Oh, he had it at Mosquito Con.
Yeah. He brought it to Mosquito. He didn't bring anything to MFCA.
Why didn't he didn't bring anything to MFCA?
No, not this year. He said he had a couple things that he brought to Mosquito Con that had gotten a little bit of damage to him, and he didn't want to he didn't want to bring him down.
He did like a Batman bust, didn't he? Like a. He did a great. I know Floyd for many years, 20 plus years.
Not 20 years, but I've known Floyd for a while.
I know Floyd. He's from Queens. But he does a great, amazing busts and stuff too, man. He's like, I mean, his work has definitely gotten crazy good over the years. Always amazed by that stuff. That's where I gravitate to. So, what do you want to say, Justin? You're holding your hand up.
No. It's cracking my knuckles.
Nothing to say to Brian?
Nah, look. I mean, you guys are hitting all the buttons right on the head. He's not wrong. Everything he's said is Brian in a nutshell.
Well, this guy's a seasoned pro, man. The Built Sideways podcast. So let's go back to that really quick because we're going to end because we're already over an hour, and we wanted to start winding down. And I want to say a few things before we get off. But the Built Sideways guys. So how did that? Like we talked about, you guys doing live cast, right? So you were doing live cast, and then you all got together.
Yeah, lots of live streams.
How does it go about when? Like, what episode are you up to, guys? Now you're up there though, number wise, right?
We drop 98 tomorrow.
All right, 98.
I knew it had to have been soon.
So if we do it like, unlike the
biological clock was going off. No.
I wanted to do a little special, like, hey, congratulations on your 100th episode for the geeks. I contacted D-Ran. He's like, we already recorded. It's all right. So Goldfinch already had something recorded. If we record a little, like, hey, congratulations on your 100th episode, will you guys throw it in the episode or what?
Of course.
We got to get it. So make sure you fucking don't edit that 100th episode before we do a send off.
Cool. We're not there yet. We
are at 98. I mean, unless the world ends tomorrow, God forbid. I mean, we're not going to make 100.
We'll make 100. Don't worry. I already have scheduled. The guys are kind of on like summer break right now, so I'm running the show solo for the most part. Chris is still doing the editing, but I'm like scheduling, recording, this and that.
Wait, hold on. So you're not everybody? All the guys haven't been on it for the last episodes?
Yeah, just the last, the one that's about to release tomorrow. Yeah,
so, and that's 98.
And then probably the next one I think is going to be me and a couple other, people in the industry.
Get Justin on. He was a great guest the last time.
He is a great guest. He's always a great guest.
Justin kept everybody on track. I remember him going, hey, boys, we're talking about models again.
My lovely wife just begrudgingly brought me another beer. She's the best.
That's a good. You got to train well, Brian.
I
gotta watch. I gotta watch when I say things like that out loud. My wife will come running down the stairs with a bat.
No, I asked her. I texted her. I said, "Will you please do me a huge favor and bring me a beer from the fridge?" I did not unprovoked.
But I'm really glad you guys are almost at 100. You guys are deserved, and we're obviously well behind. If we had all our things that we've recorded as an episode, we would be at like an episode almost 40 by now. We're at episode 34 is going to be dropping this week.
Awesome.
But we had some specials that I just listened to the specials, but we would be at 40. Like we started, it's been 2 years. I mean, we don't release every 3 weeks, which
Rob, my guy.
What's that?
Boss. It's not a fucking sprint.
It's not a sprint, man. And like I said to Whitey, I said, you start running out of shit to talk about, man. Right, Justin? Don't you run?
He will never run out of stuff to talk about. I'm always creating enough havoc that we can discuss something.
And that's the thing.
We're going to talk. We don't do Patreon. That's a big thing. That's gonna be another discussion.
Right.
But maybe we should do one. Well, maybe we
have one.
We should do
incredibly
Patreon
limited
to get this guy a new setup. I think he might need. He just bought a laptop. He got hoodwinked.
I literally turned it on and started it this evening.
He's good.
I can't to play with the damn thing. But while I have the floor for a second, I've been trying to get in here to
just talk, man. I tell you all the time, open your mouth, say something.
Freaking
oh my God, there's been a lot of times when you could open your mouth and said something. For Christ's sake, talk.
I actually have.
Talk.
And it got drowned out. Jason asked where he can find Brian's podcast, and I tried entering it in the chat, but apparently Oral Pleasures does not YouTube does not support that. So Jason, just like I end all of our podcast episodes with, go to modelpodcasts.com, where that's the consortium website where you can find all of your oral pleasures modeling related. Modelpodcasts.com.
As I say, www.modelpodcasts.com. It's a consortium website set up with the help of Stuart Clark.
Yeah, Mr. Clark, our friend Mr. Clark up in Canada.
Oral pleasure in there, just
Well, Built Sideways is the podcast. Built Sideways podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your YouTube channel, Brian?
I think it's Kodo Kai.
You think?
You don't even know what your YouTube channel is?
Here's the thing. So I haven't done a live stream on this channel in about a year.
Okay.
Right?
You used to do a lot of them, I remember.
I used to stream 3 days a week.
Yeah, no, I remember you used to do it.
I was, especially during the pandemic, there was a whole TV guide of Gundam YouTube streamers who was streaming this and then. George Lelios, if you know him, from Patriot Con. George's great old school Gunpla. He was in there. Tim Child of Mecca, Tex Marquise, Armida, John Lynn, Creeping Freely for You, Michael Wine, Gundamonium.
What about that? It's a Gundam guy, whatever his name is.
Oh,
fuck that guy. Oh, fuck that guy.
All right. We'll edit that out. Oh shit, we can't edit. All right.
No, I ain't a fan of that guy. Nah.
Okay.
No, I ain't a fan of that guy. It's all right.
All right. Well, no, I remember that's how I was introduced to you, kind of, sort of. Was Justin was like, yeah, my buddy Brian is doing a lot, and we watched it. Those were pretty good. Yeah, those were nice, cool to watch.
It is just my name, Brian Dencklau. That is literally it. I changed it back because it used to be Kodokai, and then I felt like it was weird for having all of my emails, which are also linked to my Gmail account, going out as Kodokai. I was like, all right, well, let's be a little bit more professional. So
it's your YouTube channel is Brian Dencklau.
Yep.
Listen, man, maybe people will tune in and watch. Maybe being on this live cast might get fire under your ass, and maybe start doing some more of them.
Listen.
You can do it.
Listen.
Come on, start them up again.
Right. There it is. Kodokai Workbench number 188 a year ago.
Well,
that was the last
time for 189 a year later.
I know we were getting damn close to 200, and then I had the other channel, the other show, which was the Robo Dojo, and that one got up to 80s, up in the 80s, I think. Yeah. So
you got a lot of time on your hands. You did 300 live casts and shit.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Well,
no, but that's the thing. Like
three times a week. I mean, how long?
Yeah, during the pandemic. During lockdown? Are you kidding me?
During lockdown. Yeah, that's
an hour and 4 hours.
No, but you should.
Was the only thing on his hands.
You should definitely get on that again,
dude. Floyd is always coming at me like, "Go, when are you going to start the podcast? When are you going to start the live streams again?"
Yeah, man. Get Floyd.
Oddly enough, my live streams used to occur at 8 o'clock on Thursday evenings on YouTube.
Well, listen, man.
No stress. I'm not about to jump back into it. There's no pressure. Listen,
my buddy,
everybody on the internet.
Our buddy Mike Outlaw was like, "Oh, our AMC show was Thursdays at 8 o'clock," and I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't even realize it." When I said let's do a live cast, we'll do Thursdays at 8, is because this is my Friday night because I'm off on Fridays, so Thursday at 8 was perfect for me because I'm off tomorrow. So I was like, it just is like Thursday nights is like a Friday night for me. That's how I got.
Do you pick up a Sunday shift then, or?
Yeah, I work Sunday to Thursday. I love it. I go in early on Thursday and I get stuff done. It's quiet, no traffic going into Queens. That's the way to go. But we're gonna
always early. Hell yeah, I gotta get in early, especially if you're going to Queens, baby. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. I mean, I work in Brooklyn too. My office in Brooklyn, so it's a lot better. But we're gonna try to wind this down. But I want to say something before we thank Brian for being here and all this stuff, because this was a lot of fun. We're going on about an hour 15 right now. What we want to do is we're going to do a couple more guests, maybe another episode or two on the live cast with guests. But what we want to do is, and I talk about it on the next episode of our podcast, about what I want to do is I want to have an episode maybe once a month where people submit work that they're doing, and I want them to be on the show, and we'll keep them backstage. And then when we're going to talk about their work that they're working on that they can talk about, we're going to put them live on the show. And we're going to talk about the stuff they're working on if they want to. Obviously, people might want to come on live.
So you're thinking doing like a showcase, kind of deal, right? And then bringing the artist or the creative in to talk about their work while you're showcasing it, right? And then live interact with the audience.
Exactly. This is why we brought you on, Bryce, so you could sell this to everybody. You know what I mean?
It's a good concept. I mean, and with the formatting tools within StreamYard, you can run everybody over like 5-6 people in a little bar down the side of the screen, full image, and then zoom in and out. You can do people share their own work. So you don't even have to host that shit. Like I can share my own shit, zoom in and out of the work. And then people are like, oh, can you zoom in on the hip over
something.
here.
We're gonna try it. We're gonna try.
Wow, you can do that much stuff.
Hey, yeah, you can.
Cool.
And
yeah, totally. Yeah,
we can do all that stuff.
Show settings.
Hey man, we're all old here. Fuck.
Yeah, so we're gonna try it. We're definitely gonna look into doing this, and this is something I want to do. Everybody who's in the chat, if anybody hears what I'm talking about here, people who are listening on after this goes live. But I want to see you later, Dean. I want to I definitely want to do this. So we're gonna probably do like a test run on it and see how it works. But I want to try to get people to submit their work. We'll put it on the show. We'll bring you on. We'll have right now the way it's set up is we can have 10 people on this, but I might get the higher package where you can even have more people. And every once a month do like you said, a live showcase type thing.
Hey Rob,
just to get some more interactivity.
Where would people go to submit those photos?
I don't know. We would have to figure that out. If it would be by email or through Facebook.
You make a Google form.
Right.
We'll Google. Yeah, I got you. I'll talk to you.
We'll figure all that stuff out. But that's something that we might want to do.
Because I've been through this before. So I can definitely give you some tips. And there's going to be paths. You're going to have all the options.
Yeah. So
we're tapping Brian. Brian gets tapped a lot.
Brian gets tapped a lot, but we know what I help. I've done a couple of things for Brian over the last few months. He can do me a favor.
Hey man, you know me. I'm a community motherfucker. I'm down to help out.
That's what we want.
And I'm friends. We're friends. Come on.
We are friends. Yeah, you're a good guy, Brian. You know that. I mean, even though you're from the Midwest, but you do live in Jersey. And you know what? That's
we're gonna get
listen to my buddy Stimmitz just message. Make sure you listen to the next podcast, John. It's going to be coming out. Because our guest who's in here, Blue Ox, Jason Hanscom, was our guest on our next podcast. It's editing up nice. Hopefully I'll have it out by the end of the weekend and it'll be ready to go. So that's what we're going to do. And the quarter scale Madness podcast, we're going to be having Alex Clark. Any armor guys out there who know Alex Clark, he's the man, the maestro in Braille scale 72nd, probably the best 72nd scale armor builder in the world for the last 30 years. He's going to be a guest on our quarter scale. We're recording Saturday afternoon, so I'm looking forward to that. So we're getting that ball rolling as well.
It's MIP. Jason Rothgreb says Brian's been on MIP. What is MIP? I can't.
Model Insanity Podcast.
Oh, no, I haven't been on the Insanity yet. No, I haven't been on the Insanity. Well, I've been recorded a couple of times. It's just never happened. I've been on the Screw Cutters Union with Chris and the boys a couple years ago. And I've been on the boys over in the UK too. Malcolm and
just making conversation.
Yeah, just making conversation. Yeah, I've been on just making conversation.
Brian is on our MFCA show that I have to release those live casts. That live cast, live from MFCA. I had to work on it because one of the microphones was doing a little hiss, and it was a little annoying. So I was trying to work hard to fix that, which is fixed, but it's not perfect. But I'm going to release. We had Brian, we had Bill Horan, we had Mike Hillary, John Rosengrant, we had Jim Gould on. I'm missing somebody. Greg DeFranco was on as a guest as well. So we had some really, really good guests on the live from MFCA. So I am going to get those up as a special episodes on the Insanity too. So Brian was on.
Rick Lawler.
Rick Lawler.
Yeah.
Forgot Rick. Rick, I'm sorry you were on here.
Just saying.
I had Rick on too, and Rick was great. Having Rick on was a great.
Meeting Rick for the first time was awesome.
Agreed, Justin.
Rick Lawler was a great guy. He's still around. He is a great guy. I know he was over at the World Expo, living it up over there with those guys over the last few days.
Word. Yeah. I will say though, I was first recorded with the Justin and Steve at ArmorCon, where I believe we had a nice little musical number.
Yeah, we recorded, but we didn't have the little podcaster thing that I got from D-Ran and the Geeks. That was that they got from Dave Goldfinch and On the Bench. Now with the podcaster, which we used at MFCA and then again at Amps Nationals, works like 100 times better on site. It just works fantastic.
Tune in Tokyo, dialed it down.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So we had a good time. Look at this. Poor Justin locked his keys in his car. Well, his son locked his keys in the car.
Yeah, $309 later, I can go to work tomorrow.
$300? Just break the fucking window. Shit. It's probably cheaper.
So first 3 years of my working career, I was a locksmith. But I only know how to break into like cars before 1998. roughly.
Oh shit.
So yeah, that's because I was in 1994 when I started as a locksmith. So yeah.
That's how
yeah.
you learned how to break into cars, huh?
Oh.
Well, you live in Jersey City,
Slim
right?
Jim,
Or
Slim
where do you
Jim.
live in Hoboken?
I lived in Iowa when that was going down.
Oh, but where do you live now? Are you in Jersey City now?
No, are you kidding me?
Hoboken.
I'm on the shore, my friend.
Where do you live in Jersey again?
You want me to dox myself?
No, you don't have to fucking dox yourself. I'm living
no. I'm
Massapequa.
down by. I'm south of the Amboys. I'm right on the shore though. Literally, like the beach is across.
Oh, look at Mr. Fancy Pants over here. I told you Brian Dencklau was fancy.
He's got beachfront property.
I live in a 600 square foot bungalow with my loving wife, and we're blessed to be here.
And 400 foot of it is that model room you're in right now. Hold on, I got to ask you a question about this thing. So I see, is that like it's like a horticultural room over there? Like what's that? What's that plant? Hold on, what's the plant?
You love you love me talking about my philodendron. Yeah,
philodendron. I can't believe you know the name of that fucking bush.
Well, he grew it from the seed that he found in his plant.
What is it called? The what?
A philodendron.
Your ignorance is showing, Rev.
It's an incredibly common plant.
How many years have you had that?
I've had this one for at least a decade. Yeah.
What are you gonna do when it? Are you gonna cry when it eventually dies? You've been with it for like 15 years.
It will never die.
It will never die.
It will never
I'm coming over. If I come over,
well, after I die, it will die. I've made several plants from this. I've cloned several plants from this plant. This was the first kind of plant that I learned to clone when I was like 7 years old.
What?
I come from farm people. I am a farm boy.
I come over. I want to pour. What would kill it fast? What can I put in?
Jesus Christ! Scissors. Why are you being so aggressive towards the philodendron?
Freddy's glove would probably take it out pretty quick.
What can I pour in it that would make it go bye quick?
Anything from Monsanto.
I'm only kidding. That is, I mean, listen, you love your plants, man.
Yeah. You gotta have that.
Yeah,
Brian, does the stem lignify? Does it have woody stems?
No.
Oh, God damn it. I was going to say clone some for me. I'll make it into a bonsai.
Well, you're definitely
no, you can't. No, it's a vine. So it's a stretchy kind of vine. It'll double, but like not much. You have to provoke it. So
yeah, no, if it doesn't lignify, it won't work as a bonsai.
Be good, Jason. Yeah. Thanks for coming in, man. We're going to be starting
peace out, homie.
Well, you're definitely a hippie.
They were calling me a Renaissance man at MFCA this year. Multiple people on separate occasions, unprovoked, called me a Renaissance man.
Yeah,
hippie is a 60s, 70s term.
Well, my carpentry, my horticulture background.
Right, he's definitely he's a free-loving guy. You know what I mean?
I build houses. I work on sculptures for George Lucas. I do, whatever.
He's a he's like a Birkenstock flip-flop guy.
I make movie shit.
Right.
I make
he's definitely
little tiny art shit. I make,
It's okay. Whatever. It's okay to be a hippie. It's all right.
Have you made any babies?
Nope.
Okay.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Should have kept my mouth shut. God.
Fuck. No, you know what? If you kept your mouth open, babies wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Justin, you know what, man? I say like the most stupid. I know that I say stupid shit all the time, man. But Justin, just when you think that you said something really stupid, Justin says something even worse, and you realize, wow, I don't have it so bad.
See you, Luca.
Luca, we're gonna be starting off. This was a lot of fun, Brian. We're going on almost an hour and 25. This is a great time, Brian. We really appreciate you coming on. I mean, that's what these live casts are about. We talked about technique a little bit tonight, and we did talk a lot about the hobby, which this is about, just to try to give some people some laughs. But like I said, I do want to do once a month, like I said, one of those live shows with everybody in there. So you're just only him. There you go. Call him that. I got to see if Luca's got an opening on that Scale Mine podcast.
You got to get more. We need to get more of this shit.
Yeah. Look at this.
What is this? What is this made of, guys?
A toilet paper roll.
Yeah, is that a toilet paper roll?
No. What is that?
It looks like
PVC pipe all carved up.
Styrene.
Well, yeah, it's mostly styrene, but yeah, it's cellophane tape rolls, like a
I see where you're going with that now.
Yeah.
And then a
Scotch.
styrene lattice, and then just a styrene lattice made out of truss, made out of properly cut and mitered with a file, little rods.
Jesus Christ! Next time you're at MFCA, bring some of those mushrooms with you for me.
And I'm the one.
This is coming. I just pulled this one out of.
And I'm the one in therapy, Justin.
Yeah.
One's crooked.
What the hell kind of ayahuasca are you using?
I just pulled this one out of the storage. It's actually coming back together. This thing.
Poor Frankie D is tapping the desk behind. I see him on the screen.
He's like, let's finish it up, boys.
It almost looked like the nacelles for a B-wing or something.
Yeah,
not a B-wing.
I have like
or whatever it is.
A whole thing full of customized shit.
Brian is excited like a toddler. Like, all right, Brian, time to go to bed. Wait, let me just show you this. Wait, let me just show you this.
Too much ice cream tonight. All right,
I'm on brand.
Brian. We really appreciate you coming on, Brian. We really do. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate it.
I definitely want to get you. We got to give you a nice little 100th episode send off from the Insanity. We got to make sure we do it.
I appreciate it.
We got to record it soon. That way we give it to you, and then you have it in the back pocket. So when you guys edit, you got to do that because listen, the podcast, we've all supported each other. Everybody gets along. Everybody's great. And like I said, there's a place for everybody in this.
Mm-hmm.
The more support you get from everybody, the better. And I think that we need to do that,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Forget about the small subject guys, though. We don't like them. We don't like Barry.
No, you just intimidate Barry. That's all.
My God, we had Barry and Dear Goddess on at MFCA too.
Yeah,
I forgot them. Holy shit, dude! Barry was great on that. Dude, Barry, were you there when Barry was on?
I wasn't. No.
He's just standing there and he's like,
just staring at
Barry,
you.
why are you just staring at me, Barry? He's like, you're really intimidating me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I should have been
really
there.
Intimidated.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Barry's
what are you talking
my boy.
about, Barry? You're on a podcast. How could I possibly be intimidating you? And
so many in-depth and great conversations with Barry and Joan.
He's a great guy.
Joan's awesome.
Where to start.
I'm like, Barry,
yeah, right? Yeah.
It's on the. It's going to be on there. I'm like, Barry, can I ask you a question? How does it feel to be excellent at what you do in this hobby, revered, but your wife is better at it than you? He's like, I'm okay with it. That's a good thing. I'm like, you sure? I said, you know what my wife's good at better than me? She's like, what? And his wife is, I go, clean the toilets. She should try doing it a little more. He's like, I can't believe you just said that. I'm like, it's all right. It's a joke. I'll give anyway. No, Barry's a great guy, man.
Barry's fantastic, man.
He's an awesome guy. And Dear Goddess is a great guy too, man. Wow, man, talk about, I know he does podcasting, but that guy's got a voice like there's no tomorrow, man. These guys, I mean, big time, man. The
stories. Oh my God.
We had Barry on, and then Dear Goddess comes in at the right, Justin, about the midway.
Yeah, you guys actually booted me off the seat.
Boom! It took a whole nother direction. It was like, holy cow, this is good. Great guys. I love the small subject guys. But anyway, we support each other. That's what the podcasts are about. And just to bring content for people to enjoy, man, while they're building or driving and just getting away from the bullshit, the everyday bullshit that people have to go through. That's what it's about, man. All right?
Word.
More technique talk. Talk more about technique, Rob.
More about technique. That's what we're
in the future.
In the future. Oh, I mean, on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's Tim. He's fucking pretty demanding, that guy.
Oh, Tim Burke?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about tech. Listen, man, I mean,
you got to remember, he's stuck at work, so he's just trying to pass the time.
Yeah, well, he can be entertained all he wants, but baby steps, buddy.
We'll talk about that. Actually, you know what? We did this podcast, and I know we keep trying to sign off, but I'll say this. This next podcast that comes out this week for us, episode 34, is a re-recorded episode. I'm going to say this on the record. We had previously recorded episode 34, but it went sideways. No pun intended, Mr. Dencklau. It went really fucking sideways.
What pun is that?
Because he's built sideways, that podcast. Right? And it went so bad because of the person who was on with us, and he knows who he is, that I had. Look at this guy. What the hell are you doing, Brian? We got these young kids watching.
Let me show you something. Let me show you something.
It says "Go fast sideways." It says "Go fast sideways."
Okay, there you go. Perfect. And we had to re-record. We had to re-record the episode. I couldn't release it the way it was because the guy was terrible. I'm sorry. I got to say it on here. Right, Justin? Rob, it was terrible.
Yes, you definitely thought he was terrible.
It was
definitely not optimal. It was not.
So we had to redo a new show. Jason Hansen came on as our guest for the re-recorded.
It was me times 8.
Right. So, it was really bad. So that's why this episode 34 is slightly delayed, even though we did release a lot of stuff. Even Frankie, even though we released a lot of stuff in June, we had like 8 or 9 hours worth of podcast. So we had a lot holding over, but we are going to release 34 soon. So that's where we're at.
Fantastic.
Be fun. And we thank everybody who came into the live cast tonight. We kind of capped at just a little over 40 people tonight, which was pretty good.
Hell yeah.
And we've been getting a lot of, I think the first episode now on YouTube's got a little over 700 watches. I think Robbie Knopf's is a little over 400, which we appreciate. And it's just there for people to go back and watch and listen, have some laughs and stuff. That's what it's about.
Word.
And this will keep getting better as we go. Maybe Brian will come on again, and Brian might come on
anytime.
You know, as
I want to see I want to see Julio. I want to see what he looks like. He fucking cracks me up.
You know what? Maybe we should do like a. I'll put it out there. You know, I'll send one of my guys to talk to one of your guys to see if you guys want to have maybe a little Insanity Built Sideways podcast show like I did with the Geeks and we did with the Posse.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
We'll leave Justin home for that one too, though. Because
when everybody gets back from summer vacation, we'll totally fucking get that baby.
Yeah, let's do that. I know that there's been a couple of shows where you guys subtly mentioned my name in there and took a couple of digs at me, which I didn't.
I talk about you.
Yeah, you said some nasty things about me, but it's okay. We're friends. For now.
You love the guns, baby.
All right. We appreciate it, guys. So we're going to sign off. Again, thanks for everybody for joining tonight. We really do. Episode 4 is on schedule. Ooh, I said it the British way.
Schedule. Look at you go.
On schedule.
Tea and crumpet.
For next Thursday, again at 8 o'clock. We do not know who the guest is just yet, but we're going to try to line somebody up. I don't know if anybody wants to come on, but we'll figure it out. I think we'll have somebody. All right. So
man, a digestive.
What's that?
I said, get this man a digestive.
All right, we're going to start off. So, guys, for the Modeling Insanity TV and podcast, I'm Rob Rev with my co-host, Mr. Justin Ryan.
T's and P's, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
Mr. Rob Adams.
Have a good evening, everyone.
And our special guest tonight, Mr. Brian Dencklau.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, birds in the sky and fish in the sea, this is Brian, and thank you for joining us tonight.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening and watching. We appreciate it, and we will catch you on the flip side. All right, guys. Be good. Later.
Peace.